about it.
You are now tuned into the First and 10 podcast / 94 by 50 podcast, March Madness Mania breakdown. I'm here with a special guest, Ilyas Kurbanov. We've done this last year. We're about to do this again. Right into March Madness. Can't wait for this, man. This is going to be a great weekend. It's the best time of the year when it comes to basketball. Do you agree?
Oh, best time of the year. It's the best month of the year.
Yeah,
Literally,
absolutely.
everything. It's like, tell me someone who watches basketball who's like, man, March Madness, ew. Like, nobody ever talks there. Like, nobody ever says that.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not even your birthday month. It's not my birthday month either. But like, hey, I'm off for the week, and I'm gonna enjoy this as well. But we'll get into it. Hey, but thank you for joining me, man. I know all year I've been seeing your tweets, seeing you go in. You're pretty much saying college basketball's doing the college basketball thing today, on and so forth. All your monikers, and it's been nuts, right?
Oh, college basketball is going to continue doing college basketball. Just watch out. There's going to be a bunch of upsets for sure. I don't have a lot of upsets in my bracket though. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, man, do I know though? Like, it's like I was watching a video on Instagram. It's like a bit of I believe Jay Billas's podcast.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but he quoted like looking as like holding a paper. I assume that was like his bracket or whatever, or like just the idea of all the fill in 68. And he was like, "This is the first year I go into this, and I hate to say it, but I don't know." That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. I don't know. It's like, do we know? Yes, we've seen like the Power 6 teams play. Like we've seen a lot of teams deal with injuries. Some teams dealt with like COVID pauses, and then some teams dealt with COVID positive players and then had to play shorthanded. So it's like, do we really know?
It's a tough year.
I totally agree. I think it's the hardest it's been, for sure.
But that's the beauty of college basketball. That's the beauty of March Madness, right? You're going to see
itself.
A number of what literally a bunch of mismatches and a lot of upsets as well too. I think this is the first year where I can kind of say like I made the most upset in my mind picks, right? So this is something that hopefully we'll get into, and we can start right now. You want to start with the West?
Yeah, let's start with the West.
Okay, start with the West. So I don't want to show my screen. I think we can just talk about it. I guess at some point
Absolutely.
We can probably go through
no worries.
And we can just compare. But we got Gonzaga versus I believe this Georgia State in the first matchup. Gonzaga's the number 1 seed overall, right? Of course, you have the Andrew Nembhard, you have the Chet Holmgrens, Drew Timme's, you Schwitzer, I believe, the shooter as well. So you have a lot of guys in that team, and even some young guys that don't really get that much playing time, but were highly touted prospects. Isn't easily Gonzaga to the Final Four? Like, what do you have in this?
For sure, this like any first round number 1 seed. If you have them losing, you're out of your mind. Honestly, is like we've seen it. We've seen it happen 1 in 138 times.
Yeah,
when Virginia lost to obviously the Bulldogs of I forget those 4 letters. They played in the conference. They played in the conference with Vermont, and now I'm surprised I forget it. I forget the team, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one of those moments. No, it wasn't St. No, it was. Man, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to
it. Oh my God, I'm feeling so embarrassed right now. But
no, it's all good.
It's like one of those historic moments. Like, how you don't remember that? But either way, yeah. Like if you have a first seed lose, it's like I don't know. You might be just like out of your world at that particular moment. So, I don't have Gonzaga losing at all. Matter of fact, I have them winning the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. I have them winning the whole thing. I have them winning the West. I'm just going to throw it out there right away. But I just don't see them losing to anyone this year, especially with the year they had last year, making it to the championship game, then losing to Baylor. Both teams were undefeated, and obviously one of them was going to walk away with an L, and the other one was going to walk away with the national title. But looking at Gonzaga, like you said, Drew Timme, Chet Holmgren, Andrew Nembhard, who's the Bob Cousy Award finalist. It's really hard to look at those guys and say they're gonna lose. And we've obviously seen a bunch of upsets happen previously where a top tier team was a favorite to win it all, and obviously lost in a Sweet 16 to some nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bound to happen every single year. Like, it's upsets. March Madness is not madness without the upsets. So, but Gonzaga is one of those teams, chip on their shoulder, deep in their roster, have Mark Few as their coach, who's led them to multiple Final Fours at this point, right? So I just don't see them lose.
I don't know if you're referring to Virginia versus UMBC when they lost.
UMBC, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the team you're referring to. Okay,
exactly.
There we go. Okay. Exactly. So we got that one. We got the time when Adam Morrison lost. I believe they lost in the round of 32. Remember the one with Kevin Pangos and Olenek? They lost in the round of 32 as well too. Like that team was supposed to go far. So this Gonzaga team, Mark Few's always had great players. Just a matter of them being in the South in the conference. Used to be the SWAC. Oh my God. And now, of course, they have better, they have West Coast Conference. They have a lot of guys, being recruited, but they don't play like St. Mary's. Really think about it. They beat Duke. All right. Actually, they lost to Duke earlier on in the season, but they don't necessarily play the best teams over and over again. They're playing really lower level teams. That's why I'm really surprised that they're the number one overall, because every single year it's the same thing. They get an easy transition into the tournament, but hey, they beat St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a pretty good team, and hey. Well, hopefully they don't bust my back because I want them to get to the Final Four.
I would say this year also, like, if you look at the West Coast Conference, this is the strongest it's been.
Yeah.
Right? You have San Fran in the tournament. You have Gonzaga in the tournament, and obviously St. Mary's. They were on the verge of having 4 teams in the same tournament. And that probably would have been the best.
The most
that this
ever, right?
conference has done, in terms of getting bids into the field of 68. So Gonzaga, and there's not a single team that wouldn't want to play Gonzaga in the preseason. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be tough.
Just having for Gonzaga, just having any team in a preseason play, in non-conference play, like everyone wants to play them.
Right.
Because you get a win against Gonzaga, automatically come February, come March, that's everyone's going to talk about that game.
Yeah, okay. And then they don't have Jalen Suggs this year, but we'll see.
We had him, right? It's one of those conversations like, we had him. Like, we can do it again type of thing,
I hear what you're saying. Okay, so let's go from there. I'm just going to put them over there. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go – let's go down the West. We got Boise. This is a really good matchup. We got Boise State versus Memphis. My gosh. Durant and Memphis, really good. They have some young guards that can stroke it. Wilson from deep. Boise State has some really good guard play as well too. I'm taking Memphis in this matchup, but a lot have said that Boise State is primed to win. What about you?
I have Boise State going through. I know that obviously Memphis is riding the momentum, and with Jalen Duren, at helm, like playing on both ends of the floor, being their best player by a mile, right? It's easy to say, but I think Mountain West this year is well tested. They've had a tremendous season, especially Boise State early on in the season. Everyone was talking about it. Then, teams like Wyoming are in the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to play in the first 4 against Indiana. But overall, I think Boise State had a tremendous season. It might not be, the
Colorado.
best in the field. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Colorado State as well as in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Although I got to give it to the Memphis, they did play more teams out of the top 25, but that's just easier because they have Houston in their conference, who's pretty much ranked all year.
Mm-hmm.
And their early preseason, non-conference play was much better as well, right? So,
all right, we're gonna speed it up a little. We're gonna speed it up a little bit just so we can get through. We can get through. Then we can talk about some highlight games going forward. Okay, so we got Connecticut versus New Mexico. I'm taking UConn. I like Hurley, of course, a great coach. Who do you have in that matchup?
You said it.
Yeah, there you go, Connecticut. Okay, we're going down.
UConn is
of course.
Hot. UConn is hot going into the tournament as well.
Yeah, UConn is hot, of course. We got Greg Musselman, of course. So the must bus, Arkansas versus Vermont. Vermont has actually had a really good year, but I'm going to go with Arkansas here. You taking Arkansas as well?
I'm taking Vermont as an upset.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Vermont is bound to steal a game. They've been in a tournament constantly. Like, I would say now it would have been 6 consecutive years after the UMBC was in a tournament and took Virginia down. But I think Vermont is bound for a win. And Arkansas hasn't been great, I would say, all year. They did have a hot stretch towards the end where they won 10 straight, I believe, and kind of put themselves on a map as here we go. But I think Vermont can take it down.
I'm gonna still ride with Must Bus because I want Must Bus versus the Hurley in that second round, of course, in round 32. But we'll keep it going. Alabama versus Rutgers or ND. Man, this is gonna be a tough one. I like Shackelford. I like the guard play they have on Alabama, but Rutgers with Ron Harper Jr. nasty. Nasty. But I'm gonna go Alabama. Who do you have?
I have actually, if Rutgers is going through, I have Rutgers winning.
Okay, that's not a surprise.
Just because Ron Harper Jr. and I've oh my goodness, I'm horrible with names today for some reason.
All good.
But yeah, Ron Harper Jr. and the guard for the senior guard. We're going to come back to his name again.
We'll come back to it.
But Bama is the type of team that could win against the best and lose against the worst. So I don't trust the Bama.
Okay, I'm taking Bama. Texas Tech versus Montana State. I'm going to take Texas Tech because they have a senior guard play. They have some, they play great defense. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Who do you have in that matchup?
I have Texas Tech as well. Probably one of the best defensive teams in the country and had a tremendous season in the Big 12.
Right.
Gave some tough times to Kansas, beat Texas twice, beat Baylor. Like, they can compete with anybody.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. Michigan State versus Davidson. I feel like everyone, because of the Vietnamese Hung Young Lee, Davidson, they have some shooters in that team. I'm going to go with Davidson in the matchup versus Michigan State. I just don't think Tom Izzo has the amount of guys to get through this year. What do you think?
I think so, too. I think the Tom Izzo squad is fairly young. And Davidson is one of those teams that can pull a couple of upsets as well in the tournament. They've had a great year. Like you said, bunch of shooters on the team. And Michigan State has struggled towards the end of the season, dropping out of the top 25. So I would have Davidson as well.
I honestly feel like even Richmond is better than Michigan State, right? With that young guard, Gilroy, like he's unbelievable. That game in that conference championship was unreal. Duke versus CS Fullerton. I'm going to go with Duke, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Duke. What do you think?
Duke has the ability to go to the Final Four if they play at their best. They have Wendell Moore.
Yeah.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to go against them. They're a top-notch team, and like we said, they beat Gonzaga early in the season, and that's a huge win. Massive.
Coach K's the last ride, right? He's gonna lose at some point. I'm gonna let's finish off the West, then we'll go on to another bracket. You cool with that?
That was good. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Going back to the top of the bracket in the West, Gonzaga versus Memphis. You had Gonzaga versus Boise State. Who do you have win that game? You have Gonzaga going through?
Of course, Gonzaga all the way. I said it. Might as well keep it that way.
We both have Gonzaga going all the way, but I like these matchups. So I'm gonna go. UConn versus Arkansas. You have Vermont versus Connecticut. Who do you have win that matchup?
Have UConn going through and then losing to Gonzaga.
Okay, cool. You didn't say. You said Rutgers, right, versus Texas Tech. I had Alabama versus Texas Tech. I unfortunately took Alabama. Texas Tech against Rutgers. You take Texas Tech?
I still have Texas Tech going through and finishing.
You're a Big 12 fan, eh? You're a Big 12 guy.
I mean, not really. I'm just a game fan, but Texas Tech has been phenomenal all year, so it's kind of
good.
They haven't shown me anything where I shouldn't be confident about. So,
but hey, Kansas, Remy Martin, they handle those guys, man, in the championship. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. I had Alabama versus Duke. You had Duke versus Texas Tech. Who do you think will win that matchup with Duke versus Texas Tech in your eyes?
I have Texas Tech going through. I think that's the team that will give them troubles. That's the team that can give Duke troubles. Duke lost to UNC.
Yes, they did.
You know what I mean? They lost. They barely beat Clemson at one point. They lost to Florida State in the
lost to Virginia Tech.
Play. They lost to Virginia Tech. They lost to Virginia, and Virginia is not even top size heavy. It's a smaller team this year, and they still found a win at Cameron.
At Cameron Indoor to lose.
You know what I'm saying? On the buzzer beater. So Come
Okay.
on.
Okay, so Gonzaga's going through. I think we have that. We can just move out of this
Absolutely.
this West round. I honestly think that the team that will give Gonzaga the most fits for either Texas Tech or an Alabama. If Alabama's playing well and they have a
And
good
they
thing
beat
going,
them.
and they beat them exactly, they did beat
They
them,
beat
right?
them,
So
yeah.
that's the reason why I had them as a 60. I had them in there, but hey, man, I just don't think this is my opinion about Gonzaga. I just don't. I think they're going to get to surprise. I think Chet Holmgren can definitely be stopped. I don't think he's an unstoppable player because of his strength, his frame thus far. Drew Timme cannot be relied on to make shots. They're going to have to rely heavily on Andrew Nemhard and, of course, kicking it out to their shooters. If they can't get those guys going, it's going to be really tough. I'm telling you, man, like against the Texas Tech, they're going to have a lot of trouble scoring if they get to see those guys. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like we said, the top defense in the Big 12 pretty much they've shown a lot of good things this year, so it's really hard to go.
All right, perfect. Let's go to the South. I think you'll like this because of course, your guy from Montreal, Benedict Mathurin. Arizona versus either Wright State. I'm not even going to get through their team there. I got Arizona going. You got Arizona going too.
Absolutely. All the number one seeds are going through to the second round.
Oh,
there's no debate. The number one seeds are going to the second round. There's, like I said, it's impossible to pick a number one seed losing to 16. It just almost never.
I thought you were referring to them just making it to the Final Four, every single one of them. You're not referring to that, right?
No. I said
okay.
Going to the second round.
Oh, second round. There we go. Yeah. Second round. Okay, because I was like, oh my God, I don't have.
Guaranteed.
Okay, cool. So we got that. Cena Hall versus TCU. I think that's going to be a great game. I have TCU. I hope you have TCU as well.
I have TCU riding as well. They've been hot.
They've been hot
towards the end of the season, and they had some good strides that they made. Winning a few key games towards the end of the season was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Okay, got Houston, who are the winners of the American Conference. Kelvin Sampson's doing a really good job there. They got some young guys that can really fill the basketball. They have a left-hander that shoots the ball very well. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And they just have some really good defensive play. They stop Duran and a lot of those young guys after being beat by them earlier on, I believe, in February, right? So I'm going to go with Houston over at UAB. UAB has a guy named Jelly Walker, I believe. Unbelievable, right? He's been hot. They actually went to triple overtime and won that game in triple overtime. You know what I'm referring to. But I'm taking Houston. What are you taking?
I have Houston going through to the second round as well. His experienced team with Kelvin Sampson, who's brought that team to new heights every single year. So going to have to ride with that.
I know you talk about this guy a lot, Kofi Coburn in Illinois. I know you're a big fan of Illinois. Of course, Frazier does a really good job handling the ball and getting the ball out to the shooters and whatnot. But Illinois going up against Chattanooga. Chattanooga actually went on the buzzer beater. They are hot right now. Do not sleep on Chattanooga. What do you think about this game, man?
I have Chattanooga taking the upset.
I do. In some of my brackets, I do too. I just don't think they can handle the guard play. I'm going with you. I'm going to ride with Chattanooga as well.
I don't. My only concern is that Kofi, you give him the ball and he powers you inside. You're not going to stop him. He's like,
you're not going to stop him.
I've heard a lot of a lot of media people say on Twitter or live TV that Kofi Coburn is like, he's a baby Shaq. College, just college. Yeah. Not referring to what Shaq did in the NBA, obviously, but he's that good. He's that powerful. He's that big. Like, he gave troubles to pretty much every single team. Big man in the Big Ten.
In the country. And those are the best big bands probably in – well, you have Kessler in Auburn.
They're just but those are the bigs that play inside heavy.
Right.
Like, they'll just post you up and do some crazy stuff.
I'm with you. I just think baby Shaq at LSU was just a different animal. We haven't seen anyone like Shaq at LSU. If you see that, you've definitely seen the tape on Shaq at LSU. He was the different animal. He was just too strong, man. And he was like athletic. Unbelievable, right? All right, anyways, different. Like an alien. Going down, Colorado State versus Michigan, I think it's easy. I think Derek Roddy is one of my favorite players, Colorado State, in all this entire field. I'm looking forward to Colorado State actually making a little bit of a run. I have Colorado taking it against Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard's probably going to punch that coach in the face again. But, hey, what do you think? This is your team too, man.
I have Michigan.
Oh, my gosh.
And not because, not because I'm a fan. Like, all bias aside, I think Michigan has been making strides as the season progressed, they did have some key wins. They gave a 20 bomb to Purdue.
Right.
You know, they handled Ohio State towards the end of the season. They had that mental breakdown against Indiana in a Big Ten tournament, which is concerning because looking at that game, are they going to be able to finish those games? Because the moment you give some space, some room to breathe to anyone in the tournament, that's when you lose. You know what I mean? So I think if for Michigan to win that game, they have to play virtually perfect. Like if everyone in the starting five contributes in one way or the other, they have a chance to win the game. And I think that's what they're going to do because Juwan Howard took the team to the championship before. He has few experienced players that have been to the tournament. So I take Michigan for this one. But Colorado State is a team to watch, like you said, for sure.
Hey, they're just hot of the Mountain West, right? Beat Utah State, which is a good team in that final. And I believe in the quarters there. Roddy's just, Roddy, man. He's a problem.
Yeah, he's been fantastic all year. There's no doubts. No doubts. Okay. He can score from anywhere on the floor.
We're going to circle that game. And whoever wins that game, of course, there'll be a bet wager somewhere.
Sure.
We'll see. All right, Tennessee, the SEC champions, Rick Barnes, Josiah Jordan James, Chandler, young Ziegler as well, too. These young freshman guards playing really well against Longwood. Don't sleep on Longwood. Longwood, I actually watched some tape on them. They're actually a good team. But I got Tennessee. You got Tennessee as well?
Oh, 100%. Tennessee has been hot. SEC took SEC regular title, took SEC conference championship. It's hard to go against them, with their guard play. Kennedy Chandler was one of the top point guards top point guard in this last year's class. Yeah. So they have a lot of weapons. They can knock down a three ball. They can score from the inside. They have guys to protect the rim. And obviously the guard play that plays tremendous defense.
They have a lot of shooters in that team, too. It's going to be really interesting. And I'm surprised that they're a 3 seed. Honestly, I think they got screwed. It's probably better than being a 2 seed because you're going to have to play it. If you're not, you would have to be Duke.
They're better than the 3 seed. They are better than 3 seed for sure. They should have been at least the 2.
Hey, listen. So Ohio State, I'm an Ohio State guy against Loyola Chicago. Sister Jean, still alive. I'm going Loyola. I think Valentine's, God bless her. I think Valentine's done a really good job with that team. He's the youngest. He's literally my age, just a few months older than me. Doing a great job coaching that team. I'm going Loyola Chicago. What about you?
I have Loyola Chicago winning that game too. I think Loyola Chicago is one of those teams that everyone overlooks, and every single year they seem to be proving everybody wrong.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ohio State has been really struggling with playmaking ability in their guard play. Like they don't have it consistently, and we've seen it show up a bunch of times in the Big Ten conference play and then the tournament as well. They kind of fold it. So Loyola Chicago is going through there.
Ohio State basketball really disappoints me every single year. They're never as good as you. They've never been as good since like the Evan Turner days, for instance. They've had their chance a few years ago, even last year, just didn't get. Or 2 years ago, they didn't really capitalize on that. Anyway, so I got Loyola Chicago going through. That should be an easy upset pick. Villanova versus Delaware. Doesn't matter. Colin Gillespie is one of my favorite guards in the entire league and Big East in general. Jay Wright's a great coach. Got Villanova going. What do you got?
I have Villanova going. I think Jay Wright has done a fantastic job with everyone that he's had over the course of the years. We've seen guys leave Villanova program, go into the league, like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. Mm-hmm. The list can go on. Mikal Bridges.
Miles Brinkell Bridges, yes. Yeah. Goes on and on. Pascal, from Pascal from the Golden State Warriors. Yeah. A lot of guys.
It's like easy.
Even guys that don't even end up in that league, they go off into Europe. They're like Dylan Ennis, who's actually from Brampton. He played really well on this team back in the Archie Giacchino, right, in Chicago. Jerry just has Kyle Lowry. You just go down the list of guys.
Yeah, down the list, and it's just like and he makes it happen with all of them, right? And now Colin Gillespie is probably taking that Bob Cousy award just because he's been tearing up the league the whole year.
And I respect him. I respect him a lot because he was injured last year. Right, I thought he was probably getting done, but luckily came back and just did what he did. And like this guy's, he's an absolute bucket getter. But anyways, so I'm gonna go to the top of the bracket and go Arizona versus Houston. I got Arizona going on the way, so I'm gonna take an Arizona. You got Arizona too?
Yeah, I have Arizona. Actually, I have Arizona beating TCU, obviously, and then Arizona beating Houston as well after that. Chattanooga and Houston round. I think Arizona is capable of doing things. Obviously, the Pac-12 hasn't been the strongest in the past couple of years, but either way, they've shown tremendous upside. Ben Mathurin has been phenomenal. The finalist for National Player of the Year, Coloco. Like, they have guys, right? Reese, they have a bunch of guys that can make plays, that can knock the three, and they're really good defensively, you know what I mean? And they had a really good non-conference schedule. I think they've played against pretty much anyone the same way. Yeah, and they just, they played fantastic games.
Tommy Lloyd's did a really good job with them, this year.
Tommy Lloyd, imagine first-year head coach as well. Yeah. First-year head coach, took over the job, probably coach of the year.
Has to be at this point. He just got in. Yeah, he's gotten the most of those guys. Yo, we should actually go to a game, man. I would honestly just screw it and go to Buffalo or something like that. Just come and take a plane.
If my bank account wasn't hurting, where.
Of course. All right. So you already said you got Arizona going through. I had Arizona going through and actually meeting Tennessee. I got Tennessee beating Colorado State. You have Tennessee beating Michigan.
I have actually Michigan as a Cinderella. Just because they could. Just because they could. They're going to be the Cinderella of this tournament because everyone closes their eyes. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. They're not winning. They're not going far. They're losing to Arizona, maybe Nova.
You think this team is beating a Rick Barnes defense with Josiah Jordan? You got Chandler. You think they're actually going to beat Tennessee?
If Michigan plays the way they played the last, let's say, 10, 11 games, they can.
Okay, listen, I am a very big Caleb Houston fan. I'm a very big Dickinson fan as well too. I'm a fan supporter. I hope they can, but I think Colorado State's gonna be very hard to get by.
I think if you don't stop Dickinson, it's gonna be a trouble for any team that's in that area, that's in the South region.
You think Dickinson's better than Kofi Cockburn?
No. Kofi Cockburn had a better season. Last year, we know who had a better season. You had a guy, second team All-American, all Big Ten rookie of the freshman and rookie of the year as well, freshman of the year. So I think he could be on a good day. But Kofi Cockburn was way better this year for sure.
Okay, so you got Arizona versus Michigan in that Elite Eight. Arizona, I got Arizona versus Tennessee and Arizona going through. I really want to see the Tennessee versus Villanova game because I think that Chandler against Colin Gillespie is going to be really tough. I think Villanova can definitely beat them, but Tennessee they're just clicking right now, man. They're just really hot.
These teams are all capable of reaching the Final Four, including the Illinois. I have being upset. I might change my mind. I have till Thursday, so you never know. But you know how it is. Like like Jay Billis said, I don't know.
You don't know.
I could be saying all I want to say right now, and next thing I know, Tennessee loses in the first round. Tennessee's the one getting upset. You know what I mean? Or
be right.
Duke going down in the first round, or any team, honestly.
Okay, so let's go to the East. We're gonna run down the East, and then we'll run down I believe we just went through the South, the Midwest right after that. We're gonna go with the East, and Baylor against Norfolk State. I got Baylor going through. What do you have?
All the first rounders going through to the second round.
That's boring. I don't have that going. I don't have the first seeds going.
You have a first seed losing. You have Kansas losing the first round.
I have Baylor losing the first round. I have Baylor not the first round, but in the tournament in general. So I got Baylor.
No. Yeah, I said number one seeds going to the second round, not the Final Four.
Easy. Okay, that's that. I keep getting mixed up because I'm looking at my bracket. I'm like, you really think that you're all going to get through the Final Four?
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're not.
Okay, cool. Going down North Carolina versus Marquette, I think, oh my gosh, Chaka Smart, Marquette, I think Marquette's getting through. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Marquette is getting through as well. I have Marquette winning that game as well, just based off what Shaka Smart did in his first year at Marquette. I think it was the job that he needed after Texas, and he's done a tremendous job. So
I got to respect, Shaka Smart and Buzz Williams. Really good coaches, both back and forth. Buzz Williams, Texas A&M could have made it as well too, but just didn't get enough down the stretch, even in the last week. But they're both really good coaches that Marquette usually attracts. A really big job for a coach. All right. Anyways, going to St. Mary's versus either Wyoming, Indiana. I actually have. I flip back and forth. I've St. Mary's going through, but I think Wyoming's really good, and I think Indiana is very good as well too. What do you have? Who do you have winning that?
I have, regardless whether it's Wyoming or Indiana, I have them going through because we've seen what Indiana is riding that momentum. They've seen that we can play.
Right.
That Big Ten tournament, after coming back down 17 against Michigan, that, going all the way to the semifinals, obviously losing to Iowa, and then Iowa ended up winning against Purdue in a championship game. But I think they finally realized with Trace Jackson Davis inside, who's been phenomenal all year, one of the best defensive players in the country.
For sure.
They can get it done. They can take down St. Mary's, I believe, and maybe make something else happen. You never know.
I think Indiana gets through for sure. UCLA versus Akron. Listen, experienced team. You got Jaime Jaquez, Jules Bernard, Tiger Campbell. I'm missing one guy there, of course, too. But I said Jaime Jaquez, Drew Zhang. There's Drew Zhang, of course, too. And you have Riley as well, who just made a name for himself. And I see them going through, deservedly so with the number 4 seed. I see, and of course, getting the Pac-12 conference championship. I got UCLA going through and actually beating whoever's there in Indiana or UCLA. What about you?
Likewise, I have UCLA going through and meeting eventually one of the teams up top between Baylor and Marquette. Yeah.
Right. Okay, perfect. So we got Texas versus Virginia Tech. Listen, man, I love the Askren, I believe, the point guard on Texas. I think he's a really good player, always has been in high school, went to modern day. But I got Virginia Tech going through because they're hot. They beat Duke. What about you?
I have Virginia Tech going through as well. They've had 2 wins, actually, against Duke, one in the championship, one in the conference, obviously we mentioned earlier. And Virginia Tech, like you said, they're hot going into the tournament. And a lot of times, obviously, we have Chris Beard coaching Texas team, switching from Texas Tech to another team right across the street pretty much. Right. Obviously, Texas Tech is not in Austin, but still – in-state school, right?
More money. Yeah.
Hey, you can't hate the hustle. You can't hate the hustle, whatever the case may be. But I think Virginia Tech is capable of doing it to Texas.
Yes, I agree. Purdue versus Yale. I think Yale's a good team. I think they had a great game versus almost lost to Princeton and Jalen Wellen, actually from Ontario. He was from Brampton as well too. But he played well. Just obviously had that costly turnover to end in that conference championship, but I got Purdue going through. Jaden Ivey's just way too good. Travion Williams, Zach Edey from Leaside, Ontario. Purdue's going through, yes.
I have Purdue going through as well. I don't think they can match the size, mismatch that Purdue will bring to them. But hey, never say never. like last said, I don't know. And like I say, college basketball will do college basketball things.
Absolutely. So, one thing I was going to say to you is, why didn't they play Zach Edey in the last 4 minutes against Iowa? Like, they had Travion Williams in there. He had 3 costly fouls that put them, behind the 8 ball, right? Against Keegan Murray's actually a great player. Anyways.
Yeah, Keegan. I think Zach Edey just doesn't match with Keegan Murray or Chris Murray. They're just faster. So if you stretch them out, there's no way Edey keeps up with them. They're just too fast. They're like power forwards that play like KD, but obviously not as good as KD. But you know exactly what I'm trying to say by it. It's really impossible. That you've seen what they did. Hunter Dickinson did the same thing. They just stretched him out, and he either doesn't step in too close and allows you to shoot that 3, or steps a little too close, and then Hunter Dickinson just goes by because he's not fast enough. He's great at protecting the rim on the inside, but it's going to be really hard for him because teams are going to start reading that and like, okay, we can stretch him out. Let's make him guard us outside, not inside. And once you do that, it just exposes a lot of like offensive opportunities for any team.
I think they were just looking to buy a bucket, and they had to just force the ball to Jaden Ivey. So I'm like, okay, if you put in a high screening role with Zach Edey, you probably can get an easy bucket there, but they just didn't go back to it. So I was just really, really surprised because they kept Trey Mahomes. Anyways, that's a conversation. Yeah.
It's the same way. It's the same way you're going to defend that screen. You're just going to sag off of it. You're going to give your guard the space to recover, and then because Zach Edey is not a threat on the three, so you can really ice the screen at any moment.
Okay, so I got the most underrated player in college basketball in Tevin Brown, Murray State, going up against San Francisco. Really good team as well, too. I got Murray State going through. What about you?
I have Murray State as well. I actually was debating, like, obviously I have Kentucky going against St. Peter's and taking St. Peter's down, but then I'm still debating on that, whether I want to put Murray State in a Sweet 16.
I did it. I took them over Kentucky.
I'm thinking that too, but man, when you have Oscar Chibo on your team,
you got Grady, I believe.
It's hard. Yeah. It is hard to bet against that guy.
Okay.
He can give you a 20-15 any given night. Then if Ty Washington does his thing, then if Wheeler does his thing, I don't see them losing. You know what I mean? But they have to play good. They have to play good.
I think that's my circle upset of the tournament right there. I got Murray State beating Kentucky. I think they're going to be in the East. Or I got a lot of people coming from Kentucky down there. And remember, both teams are from Kentucky too, right? So that's a game I'm seeing because Tevin Brown is the I believe it's OVC, Ohio Valley Conference, best shooter statistically ever in that conference. They've said, and I think he's a great player. I think he's going to be a guy in the NBA draft for sure. But anyways, going to the top of the bracket in the East, I got Baylor beating Marquette. Who do you have?
I have Baylor losing.
Oh my gosh.
To Marquette. Yeah, it's another upset that I've had, but I'm still debating. Like, man, I'll say it again. I don't know. It's so hard. Like Baylor, they have the guys. And obviously they lost Chachua to a torn ACL. He's out for the tournament, and he's been out for a very long time. But then they've dealt with so many injuries. I just don't know if they have that chemistry of playing all together, like as a healthy team. Like Flagler is amazing. Matt Meyer is another amazing player who can stretch the floor, shoot the three, drive to the hoop, dribble, like do it all pretty much. They do have great defense, and they have the upside to play great defense. But I just don't know. I don't know if I trust them enough right now. But like I said, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's the reason why we do this, man. That's the reason why we do this.
Exactly.
I got UCLA beating Wyoming or Indiana. I initially had St. Mary's, but I swapped it as soon as you convinced me there as well too. I swapped it. I'm going to go UCLA, get into the Elite Eight, and they're going to be playing Purdue. Well, anyways, sorry, I'm going down. Virginia Tech versus Purdue. Who do you have winning that?
I have Purdue winning as well. They have the upsize and Jaden Ivey.
Unbelievable.
Still a factor.
Yeah, okay. So I got Purdue versus Murray State. I'm going Purdue to be in the Elite Eight. Do you have them in the Elite Eight as well?
I have them in the Elite Eight. Yeah, I have UCLA going against Purdue, and UCLA make it to the Final Four.
Same with me. I got the same thing.
My only thing, they go into the Final Four, they're playing Gonzaga, and I think if they do face Gonzaga, UCLA can take them down.
They lost to them last time. They
lost to them last time, and the Gonzaga of last year and this year are two different teams.
Oh, Gonzaga last year is way better.
They don't have Suggs. They do not have Corey Kispert. There's so many factors that you can bring in and just talk about. But like if that's happening, I might have to put UCLA through, and you never know.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna go from there. I got UCLA going. You got UCLA going as well too. That's an interesting bracket right there because Baylor can surprise and still get through. Murray State can surprise. I think I'm gonna definitely circle the East as one of the brackets.
I think East is the toughest one. I think East, if you want to make to the Final Four, you have the toughest road. You have the toughest roads because eventually you'll either have to play Purdue, you'll either have to play Baylor, you'll either have to play UCLA, Kentucky. You never know. Texas might not even lose to Virginia Tech and show you what they got as well, right? They've been playing good basketball in the Big 12, and they have the chance to make it all as well.
And Chris Beard is a defensive-minded coach, right? So that's
and he's been there. He took teams to the Final Four. You know what I mean? He took a team to the championship game. So
I hate that when they put two mid-majors against each other. I hate the Murray State versus San Francisco matchup. I like when they mix it up with a mid-major and a major team, but I think that's still going to be a really good game. And Murray State can bust my bracket right there if they lose that game. All right, anyways, going off to the Midwest right now. This Midwest is still I love these men. I love March Madness. I love everything about what they put that together here. But I got Kansas going through versus whoever. It doesn't matter. I really like Creighton. I know they don't have Ryan Nembhard right now. Nembhard brothers are a problem. But Matt Bradley at San Diego State is very good. And he's been good ever since he used to play with the guys on Houston right now. So you got, oh my gosh, the guys on Houston NBA team. Jalen Green was on that team in AAU with him. Josh, oh my gosh, Houston Rockets. Josh, Christopher. They're all on the same team together. Yeah, so they're all in the same AAU together. But he's good. But I got Creighton going through. You got Creighton going through too?
I got San Diego State.
Oh,
San Diego State they have the experience.
Okay.
They've been in a tournament multiple years in a row. Like, you cannot – like, one thing, the biggest factor in the NCAA tournament is the experience. You don't have a team full of freshmen going into the tournament and like, yeah, we're winning it all.
Right.
The last time we had a team full of freshmen was the Kentucky team.
Yep. But that was a different team. Devin Booker.
Yeah, that was you know what I mean? And even then, you still had guys that were experienced, like the Aaron twins.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's like –
Yeah, but you had Cat. Anyways, yeah, that's an interesting one. I got Creighton going through because I like the big man they have right there. They got some shooters, and they gave Villanova a run for their money in the Big East championship, right? So I'm gonna go with Creighton there. I think they have a lot what it takes. You got McDermott did a really good job there. But then going down to my team that I think should not be a 5 seed, winners of the Big Ten Conference. Of course, Big Ten is obviously reigns supreme overall. Iowa, you got Buchanan, Keegan Murray, Chris Murray. The McCaffrey brothers are actually good too.
Where do you think Iowa should have been?
I think they should have been at least the 3. If you're gonna give Tennessee that, give them either a 4 or 3 seed. Probably
I'm not giving them that at all. They before the tournament they had one quad 1 win, and that was against Michigan.
That's true.
Michigan had a mediocre season all year.
You're salty about that.
No, because they beat them. They beat them at Iowa, then they lost in Michigan. It's, you know what I mean? They traded in the regular season.
Okay,
but
never mind.
I don't think Iowa deserved to be higher than 5. You could argue that they could have been 6, but they won the tournament, the Big Ten tournament, so it definitely boosted their chances of getting a higher seed. But I think Iowa is where they should be, in my opinion. But I have Richmond winning.
What?
Yeah, I have Richmond winning. They're hot. They're a hot team. The Spiders are hot.
They are. Yeah, they beat Davidson.
Montreal's very own Nate and Kaio.
Nick Kaio's really good. The guard Gilroy, I believe he's really good. Exactly, you know what I'm talking about, right? But I got Iowa going through. You can't go Keegan Murray. Sorry, man. Keegan Murray is just
whenever Keegan Murray has a bad game, Iowa has a bad game. And I don't have enough trust because they haven't been tested. Like, yes, you play in the Big Ten. I agree. Like, don't get me wrong. But you couldn't win a game in the Big Ten. Like a quad 1 win. You have so many opportunities. I'm just like, I'm not completely sold on them. And that's exactly why I have Richmond going through.
Okay. Let's circle that game. I think we should put like a $2 wager in that game because I got Iowa all the way there. I got Iowa almost going to the Elite 8, so that's my thing. All right, Providence versus South Dakota State. A lot of people are taking South Dakota State because they're a really good team. I'm going to go with Providence.
Hey, they're second highest scoring team in the country.
Yes, they're good.
They average nearly 87 points per game.
Oh my gosh, they got some bucket getters.
They launch from 3. They're one of those teams. Providence, obviously, my goodness, one of the best teams this year. There's no doubts in my mind. But if you look at field goal percentage, 52.5 on South Dakota State, second in the nation.
That's
44.9% from 3, first in the nation.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people do pick Providence because obviously their strength of schedule is much bigger.
Right.
much
Right.
bigger. You know,
I
like
just
playing against Villanova and all those teams, right, in the Big
right.
East, and they're 4-2 against the top 25. But South Dakota, don't sleep on them. They went undefeated in their conference. They won the conference tournament. They have 4 losses in non-conference, and you know, I think they have a shot taking the
Yeah.
Providence.
So you're taking South Dakota State.
No, I still have Providence.
Okay.
I still
Okay.
have Providence, but it's one of those teams that I'm like, even before the tournament, I thought whoever faces South Dakota State might be in trouble. And I think Providence could be in trouble.
I think
But
they
Providence has the seniors and the experience, and that's what matters in a tournament.
right. I think Providence has definitely been one of the more impressive teams this year. So I'm going to take Providence going through.
100%.
Okay. A lot of drama around this team, you know, with their coach being dismissed. I'm going to go with Iowa State against LSU. I think this is a game I'm probably going to try to avoid, but what do you think? You got Iowa State too?
I have Iowa State as well. LSU has been mediocre all year, just like, you know, like they have some quality wins and big time quality losses.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those teams like Alabama. They could beat Kentucky and then lose to Mizzou.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who's been terrible, or like Mississippi State, like, you know what I mean? Having those big wins and then big losses, it really hurts, especially come tournament time. Everyone kind of knows you're vulnerable. You can attack certain gaps, certain things, expose, you know, your like defensively, give you something offensively that you're not comfortable with necessarily. So I have Iowa State winning that matchup.
Yeah, I got Iowa State too. Okay, Wisconsin versus Colgate. Listen, the regular
Johnny
season.
Davis. Oh
Johnny
my
Davis,
goodness.
unreal. He's going to NBA, right?
Oh, no doubt. He's a lottery pick. I think Johnny Davis, if you haven't had a chance to watch him play,
he's nice. He's nice.
Anyone out there, watch him play. Watch his highlights. Like, if you want to look at a certified bucket getter,
that's Johnny Davis.
It's Johnny Davis.
Right. Remember, they're ranked 10th in the Big Ten to start of the year. They end up winning the season. And I had them. I just hate everything Wisconsin because Big Cat at Barstool Sports. But at the same time, they did a really good job here. And I'm going to take Wisconsin going through to play Iowa State. USC versus Miami. You still have Isaiah Mobley there, right? So I'm going to go with USC. I know Miami's Larinaga has done a really good job there, but who you have in that matchup?
I am riding with Miami. They've been good all year. They snuck a game away from Duke, like we said earlier, right? They're capable of winning and against the very best teams in the country. It's just going to come down the shot making and playmaking in that game for sure between the two. And obviously defensively, like, you're going to have to slow down Isaiah Mobley and the crew. Yeah,
Isaiah Mobley's still really good. All right, you got potentially the Jabari Smith. You got potentially the best player in the nation, Jabari Smith. You have Kessler. I think Kessler's a really underrated big. Done a really good job for Bruce Pearl down there in Auburn. Going against Jackson State, I got Auburn going through. Their number 2 seed. I think that's a little bit high for Auburn, to be honest with you. I know they've been great all year, but I think that's a little bit high. Do you agree?
I mean, Auburn is number 2. I think he's a number 2 seed. They could have been number 1, but they've had some quality losses down the stretch. You know, first losing their undefeated streak to Arkansas, and then kind of from there they've had a couple of losses that they shouldn't have taken. They lost to Tennessee, obviously, as well towards the end of the season. But yeah, Auburn is able to compete with anyone in the country. You know, Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, KD, the point guard.
The point guard does a really good job. Yeah. Williams. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. He's a good player.
He is a good player, and he's a good playmaker, getting guys involved on the floor. And, you know, this whole let's slow down for a second. And Jacksonville State, they're not supposed to be in there.
Right, they're not supposed to.
Because Bellemare won the conference tournament. They are not able to compete in the tournament because of their transition from Division II to Division I. That is their first year in Division I. They won the conference. They won the conference tournament and not allowed to participate in the tournament. The other team that wasn't a final, I'm pretty sure, was another team from Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And they are not in the tournament. They made the final of the conference championship. Jacksonville State lost in the semifinals, and they're still in the tournament
still in.
because they won the regular season conference title.
That is like, you should just put Buzz Williams' team in Texas A&M there. Just put Indiana there, for instance. Like, don't do that. I don't like this. The NCAA does some really good things, but this is a terrible thing right here.
This
don't put that team in.
And this was buzzed up all day when Belmar won that conference tournament, because everyone was like, damn, they won it, they earned it.
They can't even go.
And they can't even go.
That's nuts.
It's sad. Well,
change the
rules. Change the rules on that note.
Just change the rules. Put these guys in the NIT. All right. Anyways, going back to the top, Kansas versus Creighton. You had San Diego State. You got Kansas going through?
I have Kansas going through. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got Kansas versus Iowa. You have you have Richmond versus Providence. Who do you have?
I have Richmond versus Providence, and again, I kind of have like Richmond another as a Cinderella, just because I need it. And I probably will switch it up with San Diego, South Dakota State. I mean, I need to pick some upsets because I know they're going to happen. It's just inevitable. Right. But for now, I have Richmond against Providence. I might change my mind. I have till Thursday, like I said, to think about it. But, yeah, I have Kansas going to the Elite Eight.
Okay. Fair.
Coming out from the bottom of that Midwest.
Right. Okay, so I have Kansas versus Iowa. I got Kansas going through. I just think that Ojigbe, I can't remember his name, Ojigbe. Remy, Obachi. Abaji he's an athlete, man.
That was a crazy dunk.
Oh, you see him in the air too, like holding his brow. Like, Remy Martin is the best playmaker, I think, in the league.
I think he was overlooked just based on his injuries. Like, he's had some difficulties he's been going through with his knee. Then McCormack could play. McCormack could be an X factor,
right,
to win the game. And if he's stone cold, he could be the one hurting your team.
To be honest with you, coming out of Oak Hill, McCormack's always been he's a McDonald's All-American. Like, he should be in the league by now.
Oh yeah. It's the injuries, it's to slow you down a little bit. But I think, like you said, yeah, he's one of the best players on that team, and they have a chance to make that run. I agree. But I don't have them playing Iowa.
You have them playing
Kansas. I have Kansas playing, obviously, Richmond for now.
Richmond. Okay.
But I do have Kansas going against Wisconsin in the Elite Eight.
I do too. So I have Wisconsin actually beating Auburn.
I have the same thing, yeah.
Right. I don't think it will happen, but I have to take an upset there. I just don't think.
Exactly. The thing with the Big Ten, notably, in the past years, we've seen how the Big Ten struggles in the tournament.
Right.
And that's just because the defense that is played in the Big Ten is fairly different, really different, right. Matter of fact. The pick and pop and pick and roll is absolutely second to none. When you play pick and roll against the SEC bigs, half of those bigs will just punch it on you.
That's true.
Whereas the pick and pop and pick and roll is, you'll see guys like Dickinson, freaking Edie, Williams, the Coburns, they'll roll, post you up for 2 seconds, and kind of shoot over your head.
Yeah.
Their touch is phenomenal, but their athleticism is not as elite as Walker Kessler or Jabbar, guys like that. You know what I mean?
Walker Kessler is cramming it on mans in every game.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it's it's a different game when it comes down to the bigs and other conferences. Like the Big 12 and the SEC, bigs are normally freak athletes.
Yes. So let's go to the Final Four now because, I got Kansas beating Wisconsin. Do you have Kansas beating Wisconsin?
I have Kansas going through to the Final Four as well.
Okay, perfect. So in my Final Four, I got UCLA, Gonzaga, facing off against each other. I got Arizona versus Kansas. Is that what you kind of have too?
Yeah, I have the same exact Final Four, actually.
Wow, okay.
Only thing, I might have to change it up a little bit. Like I said, I'm still in that phase of do I know? Is that what's going to happen? Do I want to change my mind? I kind of don't, because I kind of you know what? Let's see. I'll go with my gut. I might just save this bracket and create another one somewhere else and just go with it. But I have Gonzaga facing off against Kansas in that final game.
It's nuts. Oh, really? Gonzaga? 'Cause I got Gonzaga versus Arizona, and I have Arizona winning every one of my brackets. You know,
Oh wow.
I got Arizona winning everything. But one thing I was gonna say is to you is like whenever there's some times where I knew a little bit more about the mid-major teams, and I used to overthink all the time. And
Oh,
every time yeah, and you know your stuff. So every time you overthink, you make a change, you're gonna see that team lose. That's my bad luck. But anyways, that's why I don't overthink anymore. I just do it and screw it. So Gonzaga versus UCLA, you got Gonzaga going through. I got Arizona going through against Kansas. Who do you have win the big game?
I have Gonzaga. And the spread is like 143, so it's going to be like a high-scoring game, in my opinion, just because you have some scoring. You got some scoring threats on both ends of the floor. Both teams can put up some points, you know. But yeah, Gonzaga with a chip on their shoulder, I think they should be winning.
I got Arizona actually winning against Gonzaga. I just don't think Gonzaga has enough guys. If they had the team from last year, no doubt about it. This is their year. But I just don't see them having it.
Yeah, like what happened with Baylor, they had so much
too many guys.
Depth. Like their depth chart was through the roof.
And they're slept on.
Big gets in a foul trouble. You can throw Chachua, you throw Vitale, like you throw guys in and just like and let them play.
Exactly.
Yeah, you had the guard play that Baylor had with Davion Mitchell, you know, with
Mitchell. Oh my gosh,
Butler, with Machio.
Machio, yeah.
You know? So it's like so
shooters
many.
Too.
Shooters, yeah, they shot the ball lights out whenever they wanted, wherever they wanted. They still have Matthew Meyer from last year, obviously, on that team. So it's going to be I'm going to have to make some – I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I have Gonzaga. I still think it's Gonzaga's to lose.
Really?
In a way.
I never take – I don't know what it is. It's like a rule I make, but if it's a number one overall seed, I'd never really take them unless they have some transcendent players on them. I don't think Drew Timme's transcendent. I think Andrew Nembhard's really good. I don't think Chet Homer is transcendent, but I got Arizona because Ben Mathurin, your Montreal boy. Ben Mathurin is a problem. Koloko is a problem. They play with energy. They have 6'8", 6'7" guys that can spread the floor. There's one guy that's a really athletic Caucasian guy, really good. I can't remember his name. He's really good. I'm taking Arizona. So hopefully we can probably do a little wager here. You got Gonzaga. I got Arizona. Let's see who gets the furthest, and we can have a recap.
It will be interesting to see. You know, I can't wait for the games to start at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Let's start dancing.
Let's start dancing, man. Hey, Ilyas, it's been really fun. We just went through all 63 picks. This is going to be this is the year. I think this is the year where you're going to see some really big upsets. And we'll see exactly what happens.
I promise you the Final Four we got is not the Final Four we're going to get. I promise you. It is. Yeah. It's just inevitable. It's inevitable. Something is going to happen. I don't know what exactly, but brace yourselves.
With my luck, UCLA might lose to Akron, and we're just sleeping on UCLA. We're sleeping on Akron, to be honest with you. Anyways, this is a 94 by 50 podcast / First and 10 podcast. This is their March Madness Mania breakdown. Hope you enjoy it. We'll get it all up there, and we'll enjoy the dancing. Let's get it.
Hey, let's get it.
Where can they find you, man?
Hey, they can find me anywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, 94 by 50 podcast, all platforms. Just type in 94 by 50 podcast and you will be able to see me.
Absolutely. And there we go.
You can find me on Twitter at Ilyas Kurbanov 7. Looks like there's like 6 other Ilyas Kurbanovs out in the world, so they couldn't keep it. I might have to switch it up a little bit, but I'm going to keep it right now, you know.
Yeah, I'll keep it right now.
Find like an original where this is going to be one of one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was really fun. You can find me at G_JB on Instagram, Graham_JB on Twitter. First Step Podcast, 94 50 Podcast. We're checking out. Let's get dancing.